They keep wandering about because there is nothing to eat. Job 38. 41. The psalmist also showed that the food brought by the wide-ranging parent birds to satisfy the raucous cries of their hungry young is due to the Creator's kindly provisions. PS 147. 7-9. While Jesus referred to the ravens in a similar way to assure his followers that the one caring for such birds of the air would surely provide for the needs of his human servants. Luke 12. 24. Compare PS 104. 27, 28. Mount 6. 26. Evidently because of its impressive size, its somber colors, and its mournful croak, pagan peoples anciently viewed the raven as a bird of ill omen and a portent of death. Among the Greeks, the bold, often impudent raven was viewed as a prophetic bird, perhaps because of its reputation for cunning and sagacity. It was held to be sacred to the god Apollo and to an oracular order of priests, some of whom dressed in black. A prince of Midian in Judge Gideon's day bore the name Oreb, meaning raven. JG 7. 25. Razor. A sharp instrument used to remove hair. The two Hebrew words for razor come from a root meaning laber. Issa 3. 17 specimens of this instrument found in Egypt are of bronze. These finds harmonize with the Bible record that razors were used there from very early times. G 41. 14. Although the men of Israel wore beards and moderately long hair, a razor was apparently used for trimming. Mention is made also of having the hair shorn KJ, or clipped short NW, at Acts 18. 18. See also 2 Sa 19. 24. S 44. 20. The Levites shaved all their flesh with a razor in connection with their installation into service at the tent of meeting in the wilderness. New 8. 7. A person under a Nazirite vow is not to use a razor on his head until the completion of the period of his vow. New 6. 5, 18. JG 13. 5. 16. 17. Act 21. 23, 24. Samuel, a Levite, was devoted by his mother before his birth to the service of the tent of meeting. A razor was never to be used on the hair of his head. 1 Sa 1. 11. Jehovah forewarned Judah that the Assyrian would be used as a razor by Jehovah to shave the head and the hair of the feet and to sweep away even the beard itself, evidently picturing the devastation of much of the land of Judah and the carrying away of the captured population. Issa 7. 20. That swords could be made razor sharp is shown by God's command to Ezekiel to use a sword as a barber's razor to cut off his hair and beard, and then to strike 1/3 of the hair with the sword, pictorial of the destruction by the sword to come on a portion of Jerusalem's populace. As 5. 1, 2, 12. This also reveals that barbering was an early profession. Because of the cutting damage a tongue used deceitfully can do, it is likened to a razor. PS 52. 2. Reading. Learning from what a person sees in writing. Uttering aloud what is written. From early times men were interested o textoi acute miritra longo, reaper, reaping 755. Moses' successor, as leader of Israel, was under command to engage in the reading of the scriptures day and night, regularly, in order to be successful in the assignment that God had given him. To impress Joshua with the importance of God's word, and doubtless as a memory aid, he was to read in an undertone. Jos 1. 8. The kings of Israel were under divine command to write for themselves copies of God's law and to read it daily. Jos 17. 18, 19. See meditation. Their failure to heed this command contributed to the neglect of true worship in the land, resulting in the demoralization of the people, which led to the destruction of Jerusalem in 607 BCE. Jesus had access to all the inspired scrolls of the Hebrew scriptures in the synagogues, where, in one recorded instance, he read publicly and applied the text to himself. 4. 16-21. Also, when tested 3 times by Satan, Jesus' reply was in all 3 occurrences, "It is written." Mount 4. 4, 7, 10. Obviously, he was well acquainted with the scriptures. The apostles, who were secondary foundation stones of a holy temple, the Christian congregation, found that reading the scriptures was essential for their ministry. They quoted from and referred to the Hebrew scriptures hundreds of times in their writings and advocated the reading of them by others. Acts 17:11 The Jewish rulers perceived that Peter and John were unlettered and ordinary. Acts 4:13 But this did not mean that they could not read and write, as the letters written by these apostles testify that they could. They were, however, not educated in the higher learning of the Hebrew schools, at the feet of the scribes. For similar reasons the Jews were astonished that Jesus had knowledge, although, as they said, he has not studied at the schools. Job 7:15 That reading was widespread in that time is indicated by the account concerning the Ethiopian eunuch, a proselyte, who was reading the prophet Isaiah, and who by reason of it was approached by Philip. The eunuch was rewarded for his concern for God's word by receiving the privilege of becoming a follower of Christ. Acts 8:27-38 The languages of the part of the Bible written before the 1st century were Hebrew and Aramaic. In the 3rd century BCE the Hebrew scriptures were translated into Greek, which has become the